Hello, good morning and good evening to everybody. My name is Arfan. I am the CEO of the ABN Finsights Academy, Melbourne, Australia. This program is part of our video recording session as an expert talk. And today's topic is SOX, Sarbanes Oxley Act. We have a wonderful guest. He's a very experienced professional. He is around 22 years post-qualification. His name is Mr. Tausif Ahmed. Tausif Ahmed, welcome to the program. Uh, Before going
Thanks for
further,
having
I
me.
would like to introduce Tausif formally. Tausif is a chartered accountant from England, Wales. He's also a chartered accountant from Pakistan also. He's a certified internal auditor and he's a huge credentials. So I will ask Tausif to please kindly explain his credentials also for the audience. Over to you, Tausif, please.
Thanks, SR. Thanks for having me, and thanks to all the audience for joining in. Uh, for me, I mean, like as Izhar has already explained, that I have over 20 years of experience, and I've worked in various sectors. Uh, More importantly, with reference to Sarbanes Oxley and corporate governance, I belong to that generation when this all happened. The Sarbanes Oxley came, and I started my professional career around that. I worked with the board of directors. I worked with audit committees and gained several experiences with those veterans, working with them. I worked in Gulf for around 20 years, including uh, back and forth to Pakistan and here. Uh, Regarding Sarbanes Oxley, I have a bit of experience when I started my career about corporate governance and also implementation of Sarbanes Oxley. I did a lot of research on that because it was a topic of interest for me. So this was a small brief. Uh,
Yep. Tausif, thank you very much for briefing us, right? So, there are lots of people around for financial firms and they may not understand what is Sarbanes Oxley Act. So can you please give us some the background of what is SOX is all about, Because I'm also from the multinational background, so I understand that when in US-based multinational, this is a very, very touchy subject. So I would appreciate if you can explain and give us the brief background of this Sarbanes Oxley Act before we proceed further.
Sarbanes Oxley, actually, this was in late 90s, and it's related to early 2000 when several financial scandals came to light, like Tyco, Health South, Imclone Systems, Philadelphia, and most famous were we know Enron and WorldCom. The investors lost a lot of wealth, and the investors' confidence was shattered, and this was considered at the national level that in US that we need to have some law to bring back this investors' confidence. So the government pondered about this. They thought that there is a need of a new prudent and a strong legislation on this, which could make signing officers like CEOs, CFOs responsible. A law that can make public accounting firms more responsible and accountable over their assurance, with an assurance over system of internal controls. And the most important reason was to restore investors' confidence.
So what I understood from you, so what are the key focus of this SOX? Is it applicable only to the US-based multinational company, or it is for other non-US-based multinational company or other corporate entities?
Uh, Number one, the key focus, the first part of your question is uh, when market was taken by storm due to these financial scandals, and from every corner we were hearing about the corporate governance, and that was the buzzword at that time. The investors' confidence has to be restored. I mean, the lack of corporate responsibility was there on executives. This was felt. I mean, no deterrence were there on ineffective and incomplete disclosures.
Yeah.
Investors' right were lacking in such cases of mistrust. So that was the key focus, and around that, it was felt that there's a need to have a mechanism to oversee all these things, and to oversee the accounting firms. So this was the main reason. Applicability, all those firms which are registered with SEC under SEC Securities and Exchange Act, it is applicable on them. It is applicable on all those foreign private investors who are somehow having linked with the issuers. Issuers are those which are registered as a with the SEC, and also foreign private investors is linked with. There's a definition of that given in relation to the SOX Act, which is like more than 500 shareholders, and there's more detail about this.
Yeah.
And also applicability on the accounting firm. I mean, like any accounting firm who is doing the audit of these issuers, it is applicable on them. They have to be registered with SECs.
Okay.
So this is how the applicability works. Uh, uh, so this is how the application works. And I suppose you asked about the changes it brought by the SOX.
Yep.
Because the key focus of the SOX was to enhance investors' confidence, and the act was passed overwhelmingly by with the big majority. It put pressure and shows the seriousness to the executives, to the regulators, and the regulations were tightened. The law was very clear. The corporate responsibility was established on for the financial reports. Audit committee role was enhanced, was empowered. They were empowered more. The financial disclosures were enhanced. And monitoring of from the regulator was more rigid. Plus, you will see a lot of penalties on violations. That also worked as a deterrent. So this is all was the key focus around that, and this is how it brought changes.
Correct me if I'm wrong. So do you think that one, because of the Enron and the WorldCom, this law becomes so very, very critical and very, very important for all these multinational companies? My statement is correct.
Yes, definitely. I mean, like it became because the regulators were very serious about it. The law was taken very seriously.
Okay, so now another thing is that one, because you mentioned, correct me if I'm wrong, if my understanding is correct, you say that the public accountant and the audit company, they'll also be registered or in compliant of SOX before do issue the audit report for these multinational companies or companies like that, isn't it?
Can you come up with your question again?
If, for example, the audit firm who is doing the audit of, let's say, any multinational company who is supposed to be compliant of SOX, so the companies, there's a
Hmm.
legislation which requires that even the audit firms or the audit accounting firms, they should also be the compliant of SOX, isn't it?
This is, yes, very true. This was one interesting amendment brought by SOX Act. The Public Company Accounting Oversight Board was established. I mean, the SOX Act gave complete guidelines about the role of this board, about the composition of this board, and how it will operate. All accounting firms, you rightly said, were required to register, who were expressing opinion on the registered issuers. So they were required to register with SEC. The board was also responsible for the standard setting for these accounting firms, for inspections, investigations, sanctions, vis-a-vis, so you can say for enforcement of compliance with SOX Act. So they have like all these authorities were with the board to regulate the public company accounting firms.
And that's very interesting because especially the financial entity is a very, very important development people should understand. Another question regarding what was the applicability of this law? Is there any certification requirement, or what was the law, or what's the frequency of this certification?
Uh, Again, it normally, if you see the applicability, as I explained in the earlier question, it is applicable on those issuers which are registered under Securities and Exchange Act of 1934. So
Okay.
those issuers which are under SEC law, it is applicable on them. The second part is the applicability does not end here. I mean, it is any international company with US publicly traded operations, all companies that fall under the jurisdiction of SEC, they are also, but it does not apply on the private companies or which are not for profit. So they are excluded from the applicability. There is a term they use, foreign private issuers, which I explained before, that these are those securities which are listed on a major US securities exchange, and these securities they have the equity shareholders who are the US based, are like over 400 shareholders as per the definition, and who have filed registration statements for public offering in US. So there are some criteria for FPI, foreign private issuer, is given. For the accounting firm, again, it is unlawful for any accounting firm to conduct an audit of an issuer without being registered with SEC. This is very clear and straightforward on this. The key signing officers, again, mainly the requirement of whoever is signing. Normally, we can see that CEOs and CFOs are responsible, board members are responsible for signing. So this law brings direct responsibility to them, and that's why if you go to the penal sections, you'll see that there are heavy penalties, and there are imprisonments as well for these investors, for these signing officers. For filing timeline, there are annual reports, there are quarterly reports. The famous terms which are used for annual report is 10K and quarterly reports 10Q. And there are timelines given for different type of filers. So because there are different type of filers like accelerated filers, large accelerated filers, other registrants. So they all have different timelines, but it's annual and quarterly, depends upon what type of filer you are.
Okay, and so is there any certification? For example, I was trying to understand from the new financial professionals who wanted to join the multinational company. So if they might have done the certification of SOX, so that will help them out from the job market point of view. Once you join the multinational company, and if you're SOX compliant or you have done the SOX certification, it will help them out. So what kind of certification is available generally in the market? I mean, is there any certification there?
There are certifications available. Some institutes are offering these certifications, and also we are providing certification on that. But you will not see a detailed study on these from all the angles, because different certifications have a different scope covered for these. And some certifications are still there in the market, but if you see their data, it's not that updated, it's not that current. So so there are very less, but there are some certifications like SOX is offering Sarbanes Oxley certifications. We are offering as well. So there are some few. We can say
So
that.
how do you see the importance of SOX and the applicability of so down the line? I mean, is it applicable for only the US-based multinational company, or you feel that one it will be applicable to all other multinational or other non-multinational company as well? The future of SOX, I mean.
Based on my experience, because it applies on, as I said, on foreign private issuers, on those companies who wants to work actually or work in US, who wants to get registered in US or have somehow some operations in US. Ultimately, it will be having an impact on that, on applicability of SOX. Other than that, I've seen several companies, they want to adopt SOX. Why? Because it improves their system. It gives them a better control and better strength, and prepare them as well for any future expansion in US market. So it gives them twofold benefit, as well as it strengthens their operations within. So that's why SOX application, whether by law or by choice, both is helping entities to grow and enhance their overall operations and business.
Okay, fair enough. Mr. Tasir, thank you very much for the time. Actually, we are approaching just to finish up this segment. I know it's a very small time to grasp each and every aspect, and we really appreciate that you give us a time to make our audience understand the basic concepts of SOX. Thank you very much, and we really appreciate that. Viewers, I hope you enjoy the video. I hope you understand the basic concept SOX, and please do keep watching us, the YouTube channel and the Expert Talk program on IB Finsights Academy. Thank you very much, Tosif. Thanks a lot. Take care. Bye bye.
Thanks for having me. Thanks a lot.